Hello, my name is Tanausu and I am a peace pilgrim, as you can see here on my t-shirt. And what that means is that I'm on a very long pilgrimage through Europe to promote peace. I started in London in 2017 and I've been walking already for I think about 20 months altogether, and I walked around 11,600 kilometers up to now. I'm at the moment in the Czech Republic, and this came about after years and years of inner exploration and looking at my own upsets in my life, and also what was happening around me in London with people in my environment. I had deal with addiction, I had to deal with anorexia, bulimia, and also with my own inner demons, and I started to explore self-development. I used to work as a fashion photographer, and everything started to become very, very heavy, and also I had suicidal thoughts, and I started to look into what was happening for me, what was happening there, what was my experience. And I did some self-development courses. I learned a little bit about the mind, but then I had some very big realizations, especially the one in 2012 when I was in the streets and I was looking at a piece of ice, and I was really got lost in my mind, and really everything was very dark. And then when I took this chunk of ice that I found on the fountain and I put it on the I guess the sun, that's when it hit me. You know, there was like a big opening and a big realization, and then I started to see how the mind started to create all these things, and the impact that had on my life. And then later on I started to see how I can incorporate that into my life. I wanted to help people, I wanted to share these sorts of experiences with people, and some people in my life died. There was some suicide, some sudden death in 2016. Then Brexit happened in the UK. There was a lot of fear, terrorist attacks all around Europe, and the rise of nationalism and fascism, and it seems like we were going back in time, you know, that we seems to be moving forward and then moving backwards. So I started to look into how I could I had this really big pull to go out there and help people and share and listen to stories and share it through social media. And eventually I saw a documentary on YouTube about this woman in the US that she called herself Peace Pilgrim, and she walked for peace in the US for 30-something years on her own, and that really inspired me to do this walk around Europe. So I've been going to every capital in Europe and every place of pilgrimage and major sanctuaries to engage with people, either religious or non-religious, politicians, groups, social groups, organizations that work for peace, and to share a message of understanding. And my message is walking for peace beyond borders. That peace that when you find, it goes beyond the borders that you build around yourself, against others, against family, friends, and then that has a bigger effect in all the borders that we obviously build between nations, and also the symbolic fact that I can walk around Europe freely with no borders. And if that's possible in Europe, that can happen anywhere else in the world. You know, it's all about agreement. So today what I wanted to show you is before I started walking, I started to think about how can I put into words and make a little simple way to learn and understand the relationship between the mind and the body and the no mind or spirit. Some people call it spirit. I mean, it's really hard for me to give it a name because it's something that goes beyond any language. So before I started walking in 2017, I sat down in the library in London, and I looked at a piece of paper and I said, well, I wanted to draw something, and I wanted I started to draw, and then it just little by little started to come up, and this is what came up. So this is, I mean, I've been carrying this with me, so it's a little bit worn out now. It's a paper, and but I wanted to make a video about it because I think it's important to, if you get a little bit of clarity, and then if you like what you see, and then you can share it with people and share it with, in social media, and use social media for that. So this is something that I also been, when I have the opportunity to give talks to people around Europe, I put my map here on this side so people can see the route that I've already taken, and this I explain it. I mean, you can go really into detail and with a lot of examples, but for now I'm just going to explain it generally so you can get a sense of what I'm trying to convey. So this is you, the body. Don't know if you can really see. I might put some image later on in the video. So this is the body, which is the body realm, the realm of experience. So the body, which is in the here and now, like here and now, this moment is where our life is going through us. So life is happening through us. Life is happening right now, and the body is sort of a barometer. And then just bear that in mind, because you have with your body you have your senses, and like taste and sight and hearing, and then you have your feelings and emotions. So that is felt in the body, you know, by touch feeling, and then your feelings and emotions. You feel tired, your emotions, you're angry, you are upset, you're happy, you're joyous. So all of that, the body actually has it manifests through the body. So this is what I call the body realm. So this is the realm number one, where we live, and this is all based on the actuality being here and now, in the moment, in the here and now. So as I said, you know, this is right now, when you're watching this is the most important moment in your life, because it's when life is happening, is right now, right here, right now. So this is a huge realization when you really get present to the impact that being aware of the moment here and now has. That's why there is a lot of meditation schools and techniques that bring you back to the body with your breathing, so you're aware of what's happening in the moment right now. But then just another one, which is the I call the realm, which is all this top here, is the mind realm, or the realm of the imagination, which is basically in the here and now. You have a thought. It can be the thought is from the past, or from thinking about the past or the future. You know, thought has this duality. In the pure here and now, thought cannot happen. When you are absolutely present to the moment, there is no thought. When thought comes, it's always because it comes from the past or into the future. So it's like kind of taking you away from the here and now, from the moment. And then you have that those thoughts form what are beliefs. You know, beliefs are structures that have been formed from, most of them normally is all from the past. So it's something that happens to you, and then you have this, you create this belief that an example, for example, a dog barks at you when you're a child, or plays rough with you, or bites you, and then you make the belief that all dogs are bad. So then you take that on board, and even sometimes we tend to forget about that, so it becomes unconscious, and then you don't know. But later on in adult life, you see a dog and you have like an anxiety, or some sort of you don't really show us what it is. Even you might remember the moment when it happened, you might not, but it's about understanding that that's the trigger, you know, from something that happened in the past through your belief. And those beliefs can be negative or positive. So having a negative belief, it has an impact on your body. So what it is that because you have those thoughts and those beliefs, and it anchors you back into the body. So when you think that way, and when your mind goes into that direction, it makes you feel in a certain way. And this is what we are lacking at the moment in society in general, to realize the impact that the imaginary world of the mind has on the body. So for example, you are in a room, nothing is really happening, but you started to have these thoughts, anxiety, or even a panic attack, or fear, or being scared about something. Someone is telling you a story and you are really fearful. The actuality is the realm of the body where your feet are, is that you're in a room and nothing is happening there. But you feel as if it's real because of all the impact that that thinking has in your body. So your heart palpitates, you know, you sweat, you get a little bit nervous, and you start shaking. So that's the direct impact that way of thinking has on the body. So it's about realizing that in the here and now, you have the power to create your experience in that way. Most of the time it's done unconsciously, so we just going around life reacting, you know, against things and situations and stimulation that happens, and we react to it like in a split of a second. But looking at this whole map, you started to get a sense of, okay, so I really do have an opportunity here to have a choice, you know, and it might not look like that at the beginning for a lot of people, that you have a choice in every single moment on how to, or if to react to something that's coming from the outside. And then, so you have the negative feelings, the negative beliefs, and it has an impact on your body in the here and now. Or you have the positive one, which also has an impact on your body in the here and now. So you are here and you are imagining your holidays, or tomorrow you're going on holidays. You are here and now in this room. Nothing is really happening, it's just a room, but the power of your mind is taking you in such a way that it has an impact in your body. So you started to feel excited, you started to feel happy, you started to feel, lightheaded, or I don't know, I mean, the people are very different in terms of how they cope with things. But that's just to make you realize how the mind can create something that's not happening at the moment, it's not real, but it makes it feel real because of the feelings. So feelings are a very good indication on what's going on in your mind and what's going on with your imagination. So that's why I put here these little lines to make it like a barometer. So your body tells you, okay, hold on a minute, I'm scared, or I'm fearful, but there's nothing happening. There is no immediate threat. So it's an imaginary threat. It's something that you are running, you know, and it has a loop. So, and then the deeper that you go, the more that you get caught up in this sort of vicious circle. And one of the other things that we do is we filter reality for evidence of those beliefs that we have, either negative or positive. And we tend to do that unconsciously. So if you have a belief that all men are terrible, or women are, you know, weak, or whatever, you will filter reality, because reality is neutral, it's just things were there, but you will, to confirm to yourself that belief is true, that you are right about that belief. Even to the point that even if it's a negative belief, there is enough evidence that you pull into your experience to confirm to yourself that this is the way things are, this is what it is. And then you discard everything else. So even if you have in front of you evidence of the opposite of what you believe in, for example, that men are terrible, and you have someone that is a really wonderful person, is doing a lot of great stuff and is really nice to you, you might not even see them. They might be transparent or ghosts for you, because you have to have that kind of confirmation of the belief that you have about a particular thing. I mean, I can go deeper into explaining this, but this is just to get the general idea. And so this is the realm of the body. So the body is always signaling what's going on with the mind and the brain and the world of the imagination, either it's negative or positive. And then so it has a direct impact on your body. You know, the negative, that has direct impact in your body. The positive has a direct impact in your body too. And then you have I put here what you call vibrations, you know, like the negative vibrations or the positive vibrations. Some people don't like to, you know, that word is a little bit abstract for them. But you just have to look at examples of in your own life. So when you walk into a room and someone is really upset, they don't have to open their mouth, you can sense it. Or someone is happy and light, so you can, or you are next to someone and you feel like, oh, I don't feel like I want to be next to this person, because there's something there that is really, you know, is really not pleasant, or the opposite is actually you're really drawn to the person. So that is because it's they are in a sort of vibration that is cyclical, is repeating itself. So that's the sort of things that you're giving out. So for example, if you are an example that I also use, when you are hating something or someone, even if you feel that your hatred is justified, what you're putting into the world is hatred. So it doesn't matter if it's hatred for something that you feel is right, or hatred that someone else is doing against you, is hatred in itself. So the vibration and the frequency of hatred is the same. It's just you might feel that you are right about it and someone is not, but it's the same. So this is what we're bringing into the world, into existence, you know. So this is so you started to see how the relationship between your thinking and your experience, your thinking and your body, and your imagination and your experience, the world of thoughts, beliefs, ideas, concepts, and the impact that it has in your body. And that's what makes it feel real. It is not real. It's all imagined, because the reality is that you are in a room, and obviously, unless there's something directly happening to you right in the particular moment, you can only deal with it there and then. But we tend to go into the imagination in so many ways, and I mean, you still have to look at society and how powerful the imagination can be. You know, you can imagine whole worlds and whole books and Harry Potter and all of these beautiful things, or you can imagine yourself a horrible blockbuster that will leave you bedbound and scared and frightened of the world, because it is repeating itself, you know, it's again, so it has an impact on your body, and again and again and again. And then when you have a chronic way of thinking and habitual way of thinking, it can have a detrimental effect on your body with illnesses and develop, like, you know, all sorts of different difficulties, because you are constantly repeating in your mind that scenario again and again and again, and that obviously has you sort of your brain is segregating all these hormones and all these toxins, and is constant. So we don't really look at that as a way of living a healthy life and being at peace. You know, we always look for medication and things outside of ourselves, you know, to make us happy or to give us peace, when in fact it's all in here, within you. And that's why I think it's very powerful to realize that and to actually look into areas of your life. And one of the things that I say to people is just look at where your feet are when you're having some sort of difficult moment, or you're thinking of something is just it's going too much. Just look at your feet, where your feet are, and that's the anchor, to anchor you back into your body and to say, okay, hold on a second, nothing's happening. It's just my mind is starting to take over, and that's one of the reasons I think that the mind is wonderful. I mean, it's a wonderful tool to create so much stuff and to you know, I mean, look around what we have created in a good way and in a bad way. I mean, even you can go in so many examples, but this is just to give you an example of the potential that we have to actually realize this and say, okay, this is actually what's true here, what's true in my experience, what's happening, what is really true. And then the other realm that I put here is the realm of I call it the self. With the self is a little bit confusing for some people too, but it's about a deep knowing. So this is a direct experience through the here and now, no thought. So through that no thought moment, you have access to an expansive, it's hard to put into words, an expansive experiential knowing that brings all of this into clarity. And you can have, it's like an aha moment, realization, an awakening. I mean, there's so many words that you can use. And this is no thought, nothing. So there's nothing going on there in your mind. And it has an access to this realm that brings with it feelings of joy and love and peace and unity with nature and self and others. And this is something that, you know, people, I don't know, some people like to call it enlightenment, but these words are all, I think they are loaded, you know, and they are the language we use in many spiritual literature and teachers and things. I think sometimes it's a little bit too difficult for people to grasp. So my intention is just to show as easy as it can be done, the relationship between the realm of the body, which is your reality right here, right now, and what the mind does and what it takes you with all this, and then the access that you have also to see that more clearly is through that. Some people go through meditation or trying to quiet the mind, but that's another thing. This like trying to quiet the mind with the mind is like the mind trying to chase itself. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. When you have all these techniques to quiet your mind, of course it might give you peace and at the moment and relaxation and calm, but to have a transformative effect, eventually you will have to go beyond any structure and any ideology or any technique about you will have to just be embracing the moment, the here and now, and that might lead to an opening for you to see more clearly. You know, it's a shift in perspective, in perception, and you see everything absolutely different. You know, and then so this is trying to put into words is really hard. So I just put here and I call it source or consciousness. You know, and it's not you who become conscious. Consciousness arises within you because there is that kind of moment where there is no longer identification with this realm and all these conceptual things. So your mind is not taking, your focus is not taking up there into the world of the imagination, but it brought back down to the here and now, and that gives you access to a deep knowing and understanding of and it's like a recognition of something that's this bigger than you. This not even this little person, this little body, this me is incapable of explaining it, because it just escapes this sort of way of dealing with life, which is language and thinking. And so that's pretty much it. So it's the realm of the body realm with experience, through the here and now. Then the mind realm of the imagination. We tend to live here most of the time. You walk down the street and sometimes you don't know how you got to another place because you were completely lost here. So your body was doing something automatically and you were lost in your head, absent-minded. When you are with someone and you are thinking about what to say next, so you're not really present to the person, and the humanity doesn't connect there. So you just having this concept about the person. So there's so many things that you can put through the system to check, you know, in your own life how much of an impact the thinking has in your body, and how much we don't really live in the really truly in the here and now, in the realm of the body. We tend to really live in the realm of the mind. And then the experience that brings, it can completely break down all the concepts that you have about yourself, life, others, people, nature, and it's a very destructive system, because we're so used to living here, you know, and even everything pretty much around us is geared to keep feeding that, you know, to keep making that into everlasting, perpetual way of being, you know, again the same thing and again and again and again and again, and it's almost like it has become the norm. And you know, to really find peace, and that's why I have this symbol here, which is from Switzerland, from a hermit, and it symbolizes peace, is in and out, and actually I can take it off and I can put it here, you know, if you see that. So peace is and I think when I saw that, it was actually very good, because I thought actually it has 3 spikes and there's 3 realms. So the sort of ideas of 3 happens all around the world, the Trinity, the Triad, and you know, you can sort of put that there, and that's the idea of the it comes from within you and it goes out. So it's both ways, in and out, you know. So it's about realizing that and then, you know, putting it into practice. I also have I have developed different ways to would I say get the belief, you know, the core beliefs, because most of them then you don't see them straight away. The way to find out what beliefs are running the show is through your feelings and emotions. So what triggers you, you know, when you think about something, what makes you, your body will tell you, you know, what is reacting there, how is reacting to something, a thought or a song or an idea or something, or a habit or a behavior someone does to you. When someone does it, you behave in a way that is completely out of place. That's a signal that something is already calling the shots there. If the stimulus is less than the reaction is way over the stimulus, then you know that you're up to something there. And then what I wrote here is just different ways of being. I don't know if you can see it. So the observer, which basically you inquire into, you know, this thing, but you are actually detached of, you know, there's certain things that you do, and you know there's certain things in the way that you behave, that if you do certain things you will have these certain outcomes, but you still do them anyway, so you're not completely involved in it. Then we are all participants. That's the thing. It's like we have to realize that we are all participants on the experience the creating the experiences that we have in life. One of the things that I like telling people is when someone say, you made me feel like this, or you made me feel like that. And when you really look at that, when you really unpack that, nobody can really make you feel anything, because feelings happen within you. This is all an internal job. It's an inside job. You have a sort of a stimulation from the outside, or someone says something, and it's just, if you look at it, it's just words, but you take it in, you bring it into your experience, and you bring it into your body, so you're the one creating that experience for yourself. So this is just to make you realize how powerful you can be in creating your experience, but realizing that we create the experience by imagining things, and bringing in the imagination into our body, or by reacting to certain things that other people might react very differently. So you see that when something has an opposite there, and when people react differently to the same situation, that is actually the reactions that people have are not true. It's just personal to what they take from that. So that just gives you more space and freedom to say, okay, hold on a minute, I really do have a choice here how to take this and how to interact with this situation. And so that's the participant, it creates, recalls and feels. So you recall something from the past, or you memories or thoughts, or you think about someone, or you think about something, and then you have, and it's kind of addictive as well, this sort of way of thinking of again and again and again and again, and because it runs the show, it runs you. These beliefs that we have, they run the experience that we create all the time. So we look for certain things that are going to confirm to ourselves that belief is true, or this is the belief that we already are familiar with. So we will look for evidence in the world to confirm to ourselves. So we were creating and recreating and recalling and pulling into our experience all of those beliefs that we have about anything, from belief about yourself, that you're unworthy of love, that you're not worthy, that you are whatever. I mean, there's so many that you can just pick one, and then you can also believe that you have about others, or people, or nature, or job, or money, or love, or sex. There's so many that we have, and this has been formed all through life through experiences that we have had in the past, and then we made that as an absolute, and we take it on, we forget about it, and then it runs the show, as I said. And then we have the aware, which is a way of being aware, being present, conscious, and beyond thought. So when you're really present to what's happening in the moment, being more, and you acknowledge the present moment, acknowledge what's in front of you, acknowledge what's around you, more than the imagination, and you understand that the mind can create this, but it's not real, it's not true. So you have freedom, you have peace, you have easiness of your way to go about in the world. It's much easier for you to deal with anything in life. You just, okay, what is in front of you? What is it? Someone come and tell you anything about, you are this and you're this and you're that, and then you just really are present there to what's going on, and you understand that the person might be going through something, and so there you bring a whole sort of awareness to your experience, and then you started to get into more excitement and joyful, and life becomes a play, and becomes like a miracle and a beauty, and you see things that before you were not aware of, because you were completely lost in your mind. So that's the aware, someone being aware of life, and also the present moment and the easiness of things. So if something is happening right now, I cannot deny that that's happening, because it's happening. So the very fact that it's happening is an opportunity to surrender to it. And then if it's something that is not conducive to your health or well-being, then you can say, okay, I can do something about it, but not resisting it, just from a much more powerful place. So, well, this is pretty much in a nutshell. And I will keep sharing this around Europe, and any opportunity that I have to speak to people and to share about this, and then people might give me an example in their own life, so I bring it into here, so we sort of deconstruct it and see how that the impact that way of thinking, and then going through beliefs. And there is I've got different, it takes a longer time to, like, one-to-ones that I've done with people to to look at the beliefs and where they come from. So you had to go through a whole recalling of thoughts and feelings, and what did that make you feel, and how do you think about this. And so there's so many other options to actually see the belief and how that belief has run the show and the impact that that had in your life. Wow, when you see, it's like I see that when I was 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, you don't really have to pinpoint exactly the time, but you can see there is a pattern that repeats itself, you know, in certain areas of your life. Why do you do always the same thing? Why you always end up in the same relationship, or why you always end up with the same sort of job, or why you attract certain kind of people, and you started to realize that it's all created by yourself unconsciously. And one last thing is that once you sort of reach that level of understanding, then all of this becomes much more conscious. So you can co-create your experience in a way that things happen, life happens, and it's always about how you take it on or not, or see it. You have much more room and freedom to look at stuff and say, okay, this is what it is. And I experience that a lot on my walk. I mean, I'm walking between 20 and 40 kilometers a day, sometimes 50, and life just throws at you all these things, and then okay, this is what it is, what I need to do right now. And I realized that I had no space for negativity or thinking about or projecting into the future, because it was right now that I needed to deal with my feet while I'm walking, what's in front of me, what's the weather like, and what's happening. And that really grounds you in the present moment, and it's a very powerful opportunity. That's what I think a lot of people like to go on walks, you know, and do pilgrimage, because it really brings you to the present moment. You have to deal with life, yourself and mind while you walk. And also a lot of people take inspiration when they walk. You know, they go for a walk or just to cool off if they have a fight or an argument with someone, and they just go for a walk. The act of walking is very healing. And so this is I haven't really given it a name. I think it's like the 3 realms, and this is what I like to keep on exploring with people and sharing. And thank you for watching. And yeah, that's the foundation of my peace and my understanding and what I'm sharing around Europe with people and whoever is ready to listen. So thank you for listening.